What if you could quiet the storm in your mind with a single ancient story? Let this be your sanctuary tonight, a refuge from the relentless pace of the world. Welcome, welcome to this space of deep rest and quiet contemplation. You have arrived, here, now, in this moment, and that is all that is required of you. Tonight, we will embark on a journey together. A 3-hour guided meditation designed to untangle the knots of a racing mind and lead you gently into the restorative quiet of deep sleep. Our guide on this journey will be an ancient Zen story, a timeless piece of wisdom that holds a key to unlocking the peace that already resides within you. The invitation to stillness. Let us begin by acknowledging where you are. You have come here, seeking respite, a quiet harbor in the midst of a storm. And that storm, for so many of us, rages not in the world outside, but in the world within. The racing mind. It is a phrase we all understand intimately. A mind that leaps from a past regret to a future anxiety in a single bound. A mind that rehearses conversations that will never happen and relives moments that can never be changed. It feels like a wild horse, pulling you along against your will, kicking up dust clouds of worry and what-ifs. Know this, first and foremost, this is not a personal failing. You are not broken or flawed because your mind races. You are simply human, living in a world that relentlessly feeds the mind with stimulation, with pressure, with the illusion that you must always be doing more, achieving more, being more. Your mind is simply trying to do the job it thinks it has been assigned, to solve, to protect, to plan, to analyze. It has been trained by our culture and by our own habits to run, and it has forgotten how to walk, how to stand still, how to simply rest. Tonight, we will not try to break this wild horse. We will not fight it or wrestle it into submission. Violence, even when directed at our own minds, only ever begets more violence, more struggle. Instead, we will offer it a gentle hand. We will show it a path back to a green pasture, a quiet stream. We will befriend it. The core teaching of this entire journey, the secret held within the ancient story we will soon explore, is this: peace is not something you must build, or find, or chase. It is your original nature. It is the silent, spacious ground of your being that has been temporarily obscured by the dust cloud of thinking. Our work tonight is not one of construction, but of settling. We are simply allowing the dust to settle so that you may see the clear, open sky that has been there all along. So let this be your formal invitation to stillness, an invitation to let go of the struggle, to lay down the heavy burden of trying, to figure everything out. For the next few hours, you have no problems to solve, no decisions to make, no one to be, and nothing to do, except to rest here in this moment. Let us begin by bringing this invitation into the body. The mind and body are not separate. They are two sides of the same coin. A tense mind lives in a tense body. A racing mind lives in a restless body. So, we begin our journey to a quiet mind by first offering peace to the body. Find the position that feels most comfortable for you right now. Perhaps you are lying down in bed, ready for sleep. Or maybe you are seated in a comfortable chair, seeking a period of deep relaxation. It does not matter. Allow your body to be held, to be supported by the surface beneath it. Give the weight of your body over to gravity. Feel the gentle, constant pull of the earth holding you, keeping you grounded. You do not need to hold yourself up. You can let go. Let's take a single, deep, cleansing breath together. Inhale slowly through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Feel your chest and belly expand. And when you reach the top, just hold it for a moment. And now, exhale with a soft sigh through your mouth. A sigh of release. Let the sound be audible if that feels right. Let that be the sound of the day falling away. Let's do that once more. A deep, conscious breath in, filling yourself with this present moment, and a long, slow, complete sigh out, letting go of everything that came before. Now, let your breathing return to its own natural rhythm. There is no need to control it, no need to force it. Your body knows how to breathe. It has been breathing for you your entire life, a faithful, constant companion. For now, simply allow it to be. Let us bring a gentle, kind awareness to the body, starting with the very top of your head. Imagine a feeling of softness, a gentle warmth, spreading across your scalp, like the feeling of warm sunlight or a gentle, loving hand. Let this warmth seep down into your forehead, smoothing out any lines of tension, any furrows of worry. Feel the space between your eyebrows widen, soften, and release. Allow this gentle warmth to flow down into your eyes. Let your eyelids be heavy, resting softly. Let go of all the seeing you have done today. Let go of the screens you have looked at, the faces you have seen, the words you have read. Allow the tiny muscles around your eyes to completely relax. Let your eyes sink back into their sockets, resting in a comfortable darkness. Now bring your awareness to your jaw. This is a place where we hold so much tension, so much unspoken stress. Notice if you are clenching your teeth. Gently allow your lower jaw to hang heavy, to release. You might even let your lips part slightly. Feel the tongue resting softly. In the bottom of your mouth, when you release the jaw, you send a powerful signal of safety to your nervous system. A signal that all is well, that you are not in danger, that you can relax. Let this wave of softness and release flow down into your neck and your shoulders. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, or so the saying goes. Right now, in this moment, you can set that weight down. Give it to the floor, to the bed, to the earth. Feel your shoulders drop away from your ears. Imagine any knots of tension in your shoulder blades beginning to gently unwind, like a tightly coiled rope slowly unspooling. Let go of the need to brace yourself. There is nothing to brace for. Here, now, you are safe. Allow this feeling of release to continue its journey down through your arms. Feel it in your biceps, your elbows, your forearms. Let your arms be heavy and limp, and bring your awareness all the way into your hands. Your hands have done so much today. They have typed and held and worked and gestured. Now they can rest. Feel your fingers naturally curl. Feel the palms soft and open. Imagine warmth pooling in the center of your palms. Perhaps you can feel a gentle tingling, a subtle pulse of life force in your fingertips. Your hands can now be completely still. Now, bring your awareness to your chest, to the area around your heart. Without trying to change anything, just notice the sensations here. Perhaps you can feel the gentle, rhythmic beat of your heart. A steady, faithful rhythm, the heartbeat of life itself. Let this area be soft. Let go of any tightness, any constriction. Breathe into this space a sense of kindness, of gentleness. Let the wave of relaxation now flow down into your stomach and your abdomen. This is another area where we often store anxiety and fear. We call it a gut feeling. For now, just let this area be soft. Allow your belly to rise and fall with each gentle breath. There is no need to hold it in, no need to be tense. A soft belly is a sign of a relaxed and trusting state. You are allowing life to flow through you. Let this gentle release continue down through your hips, your pelvis, your thighs. Feel the weight of your large leg muscles surrendering completely to the surface beneath them. Let go of all the standing, all the walking, all the running. Your legs have carried you through the day, and now they can receive your gratitude and rest. Feel the softness flow past your knees, down through your calves and shins, and into your feet. Your feet, they are your connection to the earth. They have supported you all day long. Bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. Imagine you can breathe out through the bottoms of your feet, releasing any final vestiges of tension, any lingering restlessness, down into the earth. Feel your ankles relax. Feel each one of your toes soften and let go. Now, for just a moment, feel your whole body all at once. From the top of your head to the tips of your toes, feel your body as a single field of sensation, a field of warmth, of heaviness, of stillness. The body is quiet. The body is at ease. And in doing so, you have created the perfect sanctuary for the mind to begin to settle. You have extended the invitation. This is the very first step. It is the practice of arriving in your body, arriving in this present moment. It is from this grounded place that we can begin to approach the racing mind, not with fear or frustration, but with a gentle curiosity. In the sections to come, we will delve into the heart of our journey. I will share with you the ancient story of the worried scholar, a tale that has been passed down through generations of Zen practitioners. We will walk alongside him on his journey. We will feel his turmoil, and we will sit with him at the feet of the Master. Through his story, we will uncover timeless teachings on the nature of thought, the wisdom of non-attachment, and the art of finding peace in the here and now. We will explore parables and practices that you can carry with you into your daily life, and as our journey unfolds, we will move deeper and deeper into a state of guided relaxation, preparing you for a night of truly profound and restorative sleep. For now, your only task is to continue to rest, to continue to breathe, and to listen with an open heart. The story is about to begin. The journey is underway. You are exactly where you need to be. In a valley nestled between two great mist-shrouded mountains, there lived a scholar named Kion. From a young age, Kion was possessed of a remarkable mind. He could read a text once and commit it to memory, a feat that astounded his teachers and brought great pride to his family. By the time he was a young man, he had consumed the great classics, the histories, the poems, and the philosophical treatises of his land. His home was a fortress of scrolls and bamboo tablets, and his reputation as a man of immense learning was known throughout the valley and beyond. But Kian held a secret that gnawed at him during the long nights and shadowed him during the bright days. For all his knowledge, for all the wisdom he had memorized, he did not possess a single moment of peace. His mind, the very instrument of his success, was also his greatest tormentor. It was, as he described it to his one close friend, a cage full of frantic, shrieking monkeys, each one demanding his attention, flinging him from one branch of thought to another. If he was reading a poem about a beautiful sunset, his mind would whisper, "But what if it storms tomorrow and ruins the crops?" If he was studying an ancient battle, his mind would conjure images of future conflicts, of suffering yet to come. His mind was a relentless engine of what if and if. What if he had chosen a different path in life? If only he had said something different in a conversation last week? What if he fell ill What if his reputation faded? The monkeys shrieked and shrieked, and Kian, for all his intellect, did not know how to quiet them. He felt like the weary zookeeper of his own inner chaos. He tried to use his knowledge to solve his problem. He read philosophical texts on tranquility, but they only gave his mind more concepts to worry about. Am I being tranquil enough? Am I practicing this correctly? The irony was almost too much to bear. His quest for peace was becoming the most stressful undertaking of his life. His nights were often sleepless, his body tense with a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety. He was a man drowning in a sea of his own thoughts. One day, a traveling merchant, stopping at Kian's village, spoke of a strange old man, a Zen master, who lived alone in a simple hut on the highest peak of the forbidding North Mountain. The merchant said that this master, whose name was Ryoten, possessed a quiet so profound that it seemed to radiate from him, calming even the birds in the trees. He taught no classes, wrote no books, and sought no followers. He simply lived. A seed of desperate hope took root in Kian's heart. He had read about such masters, men who had found a different kind of knowing, a wisdom that was not contained in words or concepts. He imagined what it would be like to possess such a quiet, to sit and feel the sun on your face without a single monkey shrieking in your head. The thought was so foreign, so beautiful, it brought tears to his eyes. He made a decision. He would seek out this master Ryoten. He packed a simple bag with some rice, a water gourd, and a warm cloak. He left his fortress of scrolls behind, a testament to the knowledge that had failed to save him. The journey was arduous. The path up North Mountain was steep and treacherous, little more than a goat trail in places. The wind howled through the twisted pines, a sound that seemed to mock the howling in his own mind. For 3 days he climbed, his muscles aching, his breath coming in ragged gasps. With every step, his mind, his monkeys, chattered relentlessly. This is foolish. One would say you will fall. Another would whisper, even if you find him, what can an old man do that all these books could not? A third would taunt him, you are weak. You should turn back now. Kian was exhausted, not just from the climb, but from the ceaseless internal battle. The external journey was hard, but the internal one was torture. Finally, on the afternoon of the 3rd day, as he rounded a great, moss-covered boulder, he saw it. A tiny, simple hut made of dark wood, with a thin curl of smoke rising from a small chimney. A sense of profound relief and even greater trepidation washed over him. He approached the hut slowly, his heart pounding. The door was slightly ajar. He could see no one. He stood for a long time, not knowing what to do. Should he call out? Should he knock? His mind offered a dozen different scenarios, each one ending in his humiliation. Just as he was about to lose his nerve and turn back, the door creaked open wider. An old man stood there. He was small and wiry, with a bald head and eyes that seemed to hold both immense wisdom and a gentle amusement. He wore a simple, patched robe. This must be Ryoten. The master looked at Kian, covered in the dirt and sweat of his journey, his face a mask of exhaustion and anxiety. Kian, a man known for his eloquence, found himself speechless. He simply bowed, a deep, desperate bow. The old master, Ryoten, returned the bow with a surprising grace. Then he spoke, his voice calm and clear, like the sound of a small stone dropped into a deep well. "You have traveled far," Ryoten said. It was not a question, but a simple statement of fact. Kian found his voice, and the words tumbled out of him, a torrent of confession. "Master, I have. I am a scholar. I have read every book I can find. I am told I have a great mind, but this mind gives me no peace. It races and worries and torments me day and night. I cannot sleep. I cannot rest. I have come to you because I heard you possess a great quiet. I beg you, Master, please teach me how to calm my racing mind. Kion finished his plea, his shoulders slumped, his gaze fixed on the ground. He felt utterly exposed, utterly vulnerable. He had laid his great shame at this strange old man's feet. He waited for a lecture, a complex teaching, or perhaps even dismissal. Ryoten looked at Kion with those clear, unreadable eyes. He was silent for a long moment, a silence that felt longer than Kion's entire journey. Kion's mind started to race again. He thinks I am a fool. He is going to send me away. Then, Master Ryoten nodded slowly. Ah, he said, his voice still gentle. A racing mind, I see. It sounds like a heavy burden to carry up a mountain. He paused again, looking directly at Kion. Then he made a simple gesture with his hand. Very well, the master said. Bring me this racing mind of yours. Show it to me, and I will calm it for you. Kion stared at him, dumbfounded. His mouth fell open slightly. What did he mean? Bring him his mind. Show it to him. How could he do that? It was an absurd, impossible request. He had expected a sutra, a technique, a philosophy. He had received a riddle. He stood there, frozen. The wind whistling in the pines, the shrieking of the monkeys in his head for once. Momentarily, stunned into silence by the sheer strangeness of the master's first teaching. And here, we will leave the scholar Kion for a moment, standing at the threshold of the master's hut, grappling with this impossible request. Because this request, this first question, is the very key to the sanctuary we are seeking tonight. It is the beginning of the path out of the storm. In the next part of our journey, we will sit alongside Kion and explore the profound wisdom hidden within this simple, baffling instruction. We will begin to look for our own racing minds, and in the process, we will discover something truly extraordinary. For now, simply rest with the story. Let the image of Kion and the Master settle. In your awareness, there is nothing else to do. Look now and see what floats by. Perhaps you see a thought about what you need to do tomorrow. See it as a simple brown leaf appearing on the surface of the water. There is no need to jump in and grab it. There is no need to analyze it or worry about it. Just notice it. Ah, a thought about tomorrow. And then watch as the current carries it along and it floats gently downstream. Out of sight, perhaps another object appears. A memory from your childhood. A happy one, a sad one, it does not matter. See it as a smooth, grey stone just beneath the surface. Acknowledge it. A memory, and let the river carry it on. Maybe a physical sensation floats by. An itch on your nose. A feeling of warmth in your feet. See it as a patch of sunlight glinting on the water's surface. You don't need to do anything about it. Simply observe it, an itch, and watch it float on by. The key to this practice, the secret to sitting on the bank, is non-engagement. Your only task is to watch. You are not trying to stop the river. That is impossible, and the attempt would only create more struggle, more splashing, more turmoil. A living mind produces thoughts, just as a living river flows. The goal is not to dam the river. The goal is to change your relationship with it. As you sit here on the bank, you may find that the river is very turbulent today. It might be a muddy, rushing torrent, filled with debris. That is perfectly okay. Your job is not to judge the state of the river. It is not to wish it were clearer or calmer. Your job is simply to remain on the bank, to remain as the witness. Notice the tendency of the mind to want to jump in. A particularly interesting thought floats by, a juicy worry, and you feel the old habit, the old pull to dive in after it, to get caught up in its story. See if you can notice that pull without acting on it. Just feel the impulse, the desire to get swept away, and then gently, compassionately, bring your attention back to your seat on the solid ground of the riverbank. You can always come back to the feeling of the earth beneath you, the feeling of the air on your skin. This is your anchor. This practice introduces you to your true self, not the collection of fleeting thoughts and feelings, but the silent, spacious awareness that holds them all. You are the riverbank. You are the vast open sky above the river. The river is just an event happening within you. It is not you. This is a profound realization. To know in your bones that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts can be anxious, but you are not anxiety. Your thoughts can be sad, but you are not sadness. You are the vast, peaceful, conscious space in which all these experiences are allowed to arise and pass away. Imagine the freedom in that, the relief. It is the difference between being tossed in a stormy sea and watching the storm from the window of a warm, safe lighthouse. The storm is still happening, but it is no longer a personal threat. You are no longer identified with it. Kia takes a slow sip of his tea. The taste is clean, slightly bitter, and completely present. He watches a real wisp of cloud drift across the sky above the mountain peak. He watches a real leaf fall from a branch and land on the ground. And he feels, for the first time, that he is doing the very same thing with the contents of his own mind. He is just watching. He is not the turmoil. He is the quiet witness of the turmoil. And in that witnessing, the turmoil begins to lose its power. It begins to quiet down on its own, no longer fueled by his frantic attempts to fight it so. Continue, for these next few moments, to rest on your riverbank. Let the river of your mind flow as it will. You have nothing to do but to sit, to watch, and to breathe. Acknowledge what floats by and let it go. And with each thought you let float by without grabbing it, you strengthen your connection to the peaceful, unwavering ground of your own being. You are learning the ancient, simple, and life-changing art of sitting on the bank. Having established this foundational practice of witnessing, we can now explore what happens when we react to the river's flow. In our next section, we will delve into a famous Zen parable that teaches us how to handle the inevitable moments when something in the river bumps up against us. We will explore the wisdom of the empty boat. We left our scholar Kion standing at the precipice of a profound mystery. He has climbed a treacherous mountain, poured out the story of his inner torment, and has been met not with a solution, but with a riddle. Very well, the master said. Bring me this racing mind of yours. Show it to me, and I will calm it for you. Imagine Kion in that moment, the wind catching the edge of his robe, the scent of pine and damp earth in the air, and inside a sudden, screeching halt to the usual chaos. The chattering monkeys in his mind, for once, are silent mouths agape. Show him my mind. The request is nonsensical. It's absurd. His mind is not a scroll he can unroll, not a stone he can place in the master's hand. It is everywhere and nowhere. It is him, isn't it? Master Ryoten simply waits, his expression calm, his gaze unwavering. He is not being cruel or dismissive. He has presented Kian with a Kona question that cannot be answered by the logical, thinking mind. It is a question designed to break the machine of intellect, to show the scholar that the tool he has relied upon his entire life is useless here. So Kian, being a diligent scholar, decides to try. He bows to the master, and, at Ryotan's gentle nod, he sits on a smooth, flat rock near the entrance to the hut. He closes his eyes. Right, he thinks to himself, I must find this racing mind. I must locate it, grasp it, and then present it. He begins the search. He turns his formidable powers of concentration inward, a skill honed by years of studying complex texts. He begins to look for his anxiety. And I invite you now, as you lie here, resting in this safe space, to join Kian in this search. You don't need to move. You don't need to strive. Simply, with a gentle curiosity, turn your attention inward. You know what a racing mind feels like. You know the hum of anxiety, the sting of worry. Like Kian, let us try to find it. Let's try to pin it down. Where is it? This thing you call your racing mind, this anxiety, where does it live in your body? Take a moment. Can you point to it? Is it in your chest, a tightness, a flutter? Is it in your stomach, a cold knot? Is it in your throat, a lump that makes it hard to swallow? Or is it perhaps a tension in your shoulders, a buzzing energy behind your eyes? See if you can locate its physical address. Kian does the same. He feels a familiar tightness in his solar plexus. Ah, there it is. A part of him thinks triumphantly. He focuses on it, tries to mentally grab it. But what happens when he does? The moment he shines the light of his full attention on it, it seems to change. The solid knot becomes a shimmering, vibrating sensation. It's not as solid as he thought. It's more like a vibration, a flutter. He tries to hold it, but it's like trying to grab smoke. The very act of observing it makes it less solid. Let's continue our investigation. This worry that you feel, what is its shape? If you had to describe its form, what would you say? Is it a jagged rock, a swirling cloud, a thin, sharp needle? Give it a shape for a moment. Kian pictures his as a tangled ball of black thread, impossibly knotted. And what about its color? Is it a dark, angry red, a murky gray, a sickly yellow? Assign it a color. Now, with this image in your mind, this shape, this color, this location, I want you to look at it very, very closely with your mind's eye, just as Kian is doing. He is staring at this tangled black ball in his chest. He is observing it with the full force of his scholarly attention. And as he looks, something remarkable happens. He notices that the ball of thread isn't one solid thing. It's made of many, many different strands. He can see one strand, and he recognizes it. A worry about his health. He sees another, a memory of an unkind word he said 10 years ago. Another strand is a fear of the mountain journey back down. Another is an imagined argument with the master. It's not a single entity called racing mind. It is a collection of individual thoughts, individual fears, individual memories, all tangled together. And this is the great discovery. This is the heart of the master's teaching. The racing mind is not a noun, it is a verb. It is not a thing. It is a process. It is an activity that the mind is engaged in. You cannot show the master your racing mind for the same reason you cannot show him your fist when your hand is open, or show him you're walking when you are standing still. You can only show him the components, a finger, a leg, a thought. The moment you go looking for the racing mind as a solid, unified object, it vanishes. It dissolves under the light of inspection. What you find instead are simply thoughts, sensations, feelings. Each one, on its own, is transient. It is ephemeral. It arises, it exists for a moment, and then it passes away, just like a sound, or a cloud in the sky. The only reason it feels so solid and overwhelming is because they come one after the other, so quickly, and we get caught up in their story, believing that we are them. This is what Kian begins to understand as he sits on that rock. He has been trying to fight a monster, but there is no monster. There is only a parade of small, fleeting ghosts. He opens his eyes and looks at Master Ryoten. The old man is watching him, a faint, knowing smile on his lips. Kian feels a shift. Inside him, a profound, fundamental shift in perspective. He cannot grab his racing mind. He cannot hand it to the master. The request was a trick, but a compassionate one. A trick to get him to stop being the victim of his mind and to start being the observer of it. The master saw that Kian's problem wasn't the thoughts themselves, but his relationship to them. He was fused with them. He believed he was his. Anxious mind. The simple act of looking for it, of investigating it with gentle curiosity, created a space, a tiny, precious gap between Kian, the observer, and the thoughts, the observed. And in that gap, there is peace. In that gap, there is freedom. So, for the moments that remain in this part of our journey, let this be your practice. When you feel that old, familiar hum of anxiety, that feeling of a mind starting to race, simply ask yourself the master's question. Okay, let me find this thing. Where is it right now? What does it feel like? What is it made of? Don't do it with aggression, but with the gentle curiosity of a scientist discovering a new phenomenon. You are not trying to make it go away. You are simply getting to know it. You are turning on the light in a dark room, and you may discover, just as Kian did, that the monster you thought was lurking in the corner was just a pile of old clothes and shadows. By looking for your racing mind, you will fail to find it every single time. And in that beautiful, liberating failure, you will find the beginning of the quiet you seek. In our next section, we will take this newfound space, this gap between self and thought, and we will explore it through another powerful Zen metaphor, the mind as a great, flowing river. We will learn not how to stop the river, but how to find a comfortable seat on the bank and watch it flow by. The river of consciousness, learning to sit on the bankian, sat before the master. The profound truth of his experience settling over him like the evening mist descending upon the valley. He had looked for his tormentor, this solid entity called my racing mind, and had found nothing but smoke. He had found thoughts, yes, a flurry of them. He had found sensations, feelings, memories, but he could not find a single, unified thing to grasp, to present, to blame. For the first time, he saw that the problem was not the content of his mind, but his entanglement with it. Master Ryoten, seeing the understanding dawn in Kian's eyes, gestured for him to come closer. He poured 2 cups of steaming green tea. Your mind, the master said, his voice as calm as the surface of a forest pond, is like a great river. It is powerful, and it is always flowing. For your whole life, you have been thrown into this river. You have been tumbling in the current, tossed and turned, spun around by every log of memory, every rock of fear, every rapid of anxiety. You have been so busy trying not to drown that you have come to believe that you are the river. You believe your very essence is this chaos, this constant churning movement. He handed a cup of tea to Kion, who took it with steady hands. The warmth seeped into his fingers, a simple, grounding sensation. The beginning of wisdom, Ryoten continued, is to realize that you are not the river. You are the one who is aware of the river. The first step, which you have just taken, is to find your way to the riverbank, and to learn, for the first time, how to simply sit and watch the water flow by. This metaphor, the river of consciousness, is one of the most powerful in all of Zen practice. And tonight, it is a practice we can engage in together, a direct path to experiencing the peace that Kion was just beginning to touch. So, I invite you now to join me on the riverbank. Allow your awareness, which is now resting in the quiet landscape of your body, to form a picture in your mind. Imagine you are sitting on the soft, grassy bank of a wide, flowing river. The sun is warm on your skin, but not hot. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves of a willow tree nearby. The ground beneath you is solid, stable, and completely still. You are safe here. You are comfortable. This is your spot. From here, you have a perfect view of the river. Now, look at the river. See its steady, relentless flow. This river is your mind. It is the stream of your consciousness, and everything that passes through your awareness is simply an object floating in this river. We have journeyed with the scholar Kion to a place of profound insight. By following the master's strange instruction to find his racing mind, he has discovered that it is not a solid thing, but a process. And by taking his seat on the metaphorical riverbank, he is learning to witness this process without being swept away by it. He is learning to watch the leaves, the stones, and the debris of his thoughts float by on the river of consciousness, without diving in after them. This is a monumental step. It is the beginning of freedom. But what happens when the river is not just flowing peacefully before us? What happens when a piece of debris, a heavy log, doesn't just float by, but veers off course and bumps directly into our boat? What happens when a thought is not just a passing cloud, but a lightning strike that makes our whole body jolt with reaction? We can sit on the bank all we want, but some events, both internal and external, seem to demand a response. They provoke us, they trigger us, they fill us with a sudden, hot surge of anger, fear, or indignation. How do we practice with these moments? To explore this, Master Ryoten, after allowing Kion to savor the stillness for a long time, shares with him another, timeless piece of Zen wisdom. It is not a complex doctrine, but a simple story, a parable that holds the key to dissolving anger and blame at its very root. It is the parable of the empty boat. And I invite you now to listen to this story, to let its imagery wash over you, and to feel its truth in your own experience. Imagine, the master says, a man who lives by a great, misty lake. One morning, he decides to go out in his small boat to meditate. He rows out to the middle of the lake, where the water is calm and the shore is a distant, hazy line. The mist is thick, muffling all sound, creating a cocoon of perfect silence. And solitude, the man lays down his oars, closes his eyes, and settles into a state of deep, peaceful contemplation. The air is cool and fresh. The boat rocks ever so gently on the water. All is well. Suddenly, out of the silent mist, there is a loud, jarring thump. Another boat has collided with his. The man's eyes fly open, his peace instantly shattered. A hot flash of anger surges through him. Who is this careless fool? He thinks. How could anyone be so idiotic as to crash into another boat on this vast, open lake? His heart pounds with indignation. He sits up, ready to unleash a torrent of furious words. He turns and glares in the direction of the other boat, his mouth open to shout, his mind already composing a list of scathing insults for the clumsy oaf who has ruined his meditation. But as he looks, as his eyes adjust to the thick mist, he sees that the other boat is empty. There is no one in it. It is just a small, unmanned sampan that has likely broken free from its mooring on the shore and has been drifting aimlessly on the currents. In that instant, everything changes. The anger, which was a raging inferno just a second before, vanishes. Completely, it simply evaporates, leaving no trace. There is no one to shout at. There is no one to blame. There is no fool, no oaf, no inconsiderate person. There is only an event, a piece of wood bumping into another piece of wood. The situation is exactly the same. His boat has been bumped, his meditation has been disturbed, but his entire emotional reality has been transformed. All that is left is the gentle rocking of the two boats, the thick silence of the mist, and perhaps a slight feeling of foolishness for his own explosive reaction. He might even laugh. He takes a deep breath, pushes the empty boat away with his hand, and returns to his meditation. His peace now even deeper and more resilient than before. This story, so simple on the surface, contains a universe of wisdom about the nature of our own minds. Let us sit with it for a moment and gently unpack its teaching. The man in the story was not made angry by the event itself. The bump was just a bump, a neutral, physical occurrence. He was made angry by the story he instantly created about the event. His anger was entirely dependent on one single assumption, that there was someone in the other boat. It required a target. His indignation, his sense of being wronged, needed a conscious, careless other to project onto. When he discovered the boat was empty, the story collapsed, and the anger, having no fuel, no target, no place to land, simply dissolved. Now, consider your own life. Consider your own racing mind. How many times a day are you shouting at empty boats? Our minds are constantly, automatically, and often unconsciously populating the world with intentional actors, especially when things go wrong. We are story-making machines, and we almost always cast someone in the role of the villain who is intentionally acting against us. Think of a time you sent an important message and did not receive a reply for hours. The event is neutral, an absence of a response. But what story did your mind create? Did you imagine the other person was intentionally ignoring you, that they were angry, that they didn't respect you? You put a person in the empty boat, and then you suffered because of the story you created about them. The suffering was not caused by the silence, but by the meaning you assigned to it. Consider a driver who cuts you off in traffic. The event is a car moving into your lane. The story your mind creates is about a jerk, an idiot, a selfish and aggressive person who has personally disrespected you. Your blood pressure rises, you lean on the horn, you feel a surge of rage. You are shouting at a boat you have instantly filled with a villain. But what if the person in that car was a frantic parent rushing their sick child to the hospital? What if they were disoriented, lost in an unfamiliar city? What if they simply made a mistake, a momentary lapse in attention, just as you and I have done 1,000 times? If we could see this, we would see their boat was, in a sense, empty of malicious intent towards us. The event would remain the same, but our suffering would vanish. This practice extends even to the boats within our own minds. When a harsh self-critical thought arises, "You're not good enough. You're going to fail," we often react with despair or shame. We believe there is a someone in that boat, an inner critic, a judge who is passing a valid sentence upon us. But what if you could see that thought as just an empty boat, a piece of old, conditioned mental debris that has broken loose from the past and is simply drifting through your awareness? It has no captain, it has no authority. It is just a thought pattern, as impersonal as a drifting piece of wood. If you don't put a judge in the boat, the thought has no power to condemn you. It bumps you, and you can simply notice it, the not good enough boat, and gently push it away and continue on. This is a profound practice of depersonalization. It is the art of seeing events as events and thoughts as thoughts, without adding the unnecessary and painful layer of blame, assumption, and story. Let us try this now. In a gentle reflection, bring to mind something from your day or your week that has been causing you a quiet hum of distress. It could be a conflict with someone, a worry about the future, a judgment about yourself. Just choose one thing and hold it gently in your awareness. Don't now. Ask yourself, what is the story I have told myself about this situation? Who have I put in the other boat? What intentions have I assigned to them? Have I assumed they are careless, malicious, or out to get me? If the worry is about yourself, have you assumed that your critical thought is the absolute truth, spoken by an all-knowing judge? Be honest and gentle with yourself now. For just a moment, let's perform an experiment. Can you imagine that boat is empty? Can you, for the sake of this practice, let go of your story and see only the raw event? Take the person, the intention, the blame out of the boat. What is left? A word that was spoken, an action that was taken, a deadline that is approaching, a sensation in the body. Without the story, what is the simple, neutral reality of it? See it as a piece of driftwood bumping into you on the currents of life. It's not personal, it's just happening. Feel what happens in your body when you do this. Do you notice a softening, a release in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach? When there is no one to be angry at, anger cannot survive. When there is no one to fear, fear loses its grip. This is not about condoning harmful behavior or becoming a passive doormat. It is about reclaiming your own inner peace. You realize that your suffering is not caused by others, but by your own reactions, your own stories. And that is fantastic news, because it means the power to end the suffering lies entirely within your own hands. You cannot control the other boats on the lake, but you can choose not to fill them with imaginary enemies. Kian understood. He saw that his mind was a fleet of these occupied boats. He was angry at his past self for mistakes made, frustrated with others for perceived slights, terrified of a future filled with careless people. He was shouting at 1,000 ghosts in 1,000 empty boats. By seeing them as empty, he wasn't denying his problems. He was simply ceasing to pour the gasoline of blame onto the fire of his anxiety. So, as you rest here, let this image be your companion. The image of the empty boat on the misty lake. When a difficult thought or feeling arises, ask yourself, is this boat truly occupied, or am I the one filling it? More often than not, you will find it is empty, and you can let it drift by, saving your energy, your peace, and your breath. By learning not to react, by letting the boats be empty, we cultivate a deeper quiet. From this quiet, we can now perceive something even more subtle, even more profound. Our journey inward is deepening. We have accompanied Kian as he has made one life-altering discovery after another. He first learned that his racing mind was not a solid monster, but a fleeting process. Then, sitting on the bank of the great river of consciousness, he learned to witness this process without being swept away. And finally, through the parable of the empty boat, he has found the secret to dissolving anger and blame, learning not to react to the inevitable bumps and jolts of life by seeing them as impersonal, empty events. Each of these steps has brought him and us to a place of greater calm, greater space, and greater freedom. We are now standing at the edge of an even more subtle and profound discovery. From this newfound quiet, from this place of non-reaction, we become sensitive enough to perceive the very nature of consciousness itself. We begin to realize that the stream of thoughts, the river we have been watching, is not as solid and continuous as it first appeared. Master Ryoten leads Kion to the edge of a small, clear spring that bubbles up from the ground near his hut. He points to the water. "You see the flow," he says, "but the water itself is made of countless individual drops, all flowing together. So close they appear to be one thing, but they are not. It is the same with your thoughts." He then points up at the sky. It is late afternoon, and a few fluffy, white clouds are drifting slowly overhead. "We notice the clouds," Ryoten says. "We are so fascinated by their shapes, their movement, their color, but we often fail to notice what is holding them. We fail to notice the vast, silent, blue sky that allows the clouds to be there in the first place. The sky does not cling to the clouds, nor does it push them away. It simply allows them to be and to pass. That sky, that is your true nature. The thoughts are just the clouds." This is the next great teaching for us tonight. The racing mind creates the illusion of a solid, unbroken wall of noise. One thought seems to weld itself directly onto the next, with no space in between. It feels like a relentless high-speed train with no stops. But this is an illusion, a trick of momentum. In reality, the stream of consciousness is not a solid wall, but a series of individual bricks. And between each brick, there is a space, a gap, a moment of pure, thought-free silence. Think of a movie film. When you watch a film, you see continuous, fluid motion. But if you were to look at the actual film strip, you would see that it is composed of thousands upon thousands of individual still photographs. Between each static frame, there is a tiny black line, a gap. The illusion of motion is created by projecting these still frames so quickly that the eye doesn't register the gaps. Your mind works in exactly the same way. Thoughts are the individual frames. The story of me and my problems is the movie. And between each and every thought, there is a tiny, imperceptible gap of pure, silent awareness. Our practice now is to become more interested in the gaps than in the movie itself. We are not going to try to force the movie to stop. We are not going to try and create the gaps. That would just be another form of striving, another thought. Instead, we are simply going to cultivate the intention to notice them when they naturally occur. We are going to become connoisseurs of silence, collectors of these precious, fleeting moments of inner quiet. Let us begin this gentle practice. Together, return once more to your comfortable position, to the feeling of your body resting, to the gentle rhythm of your breath. Return to your seat on the riverbank. The river of thought is flowing by, but this time our attention is going to be a little different. We are going to wait, patiently and without expectation, for a space to appear between the thoughts. As one thought or image comes to an end, just before the next one has a chance to form, there is a pause. It may be infinitesimally small, a flicker, a flash, but it is there. The practice is simply to be alert, to be open to catching a glimpse of it. Don't be discouraged if your mind seems incredibly busy. That is normal. Let the thoughts come and go. Just remain gently in the background, as the observer, holding the intention, I am watching for the space. It's like being in a dark room and waiting for your eyes to adjust. At first, you see nothing, but with patience, shapes begin to emerge from the blackness. In the same way, with patient, gentle attention, the silent spaces in your mind will begin to reveal themselves to you. Let's use the breath as our guide, as it is a natural creator of these gaps. Follow the sensation of your inhalation all the way to the top. Now, at the very peak of the in-breath, before it turns into the out-breath, there is a turning point. A brief, suspended moment. Can you feel that? Now, follow the sensation of your exhalation all the way to the end. As your lungs empty, feel your body settle and come to a point of rest. And in that moment, before the impulse to inhale arises again, there is a natural pause, a valley of stillness. This is the most noticeable gap. See if you can rest your attention in that valley just for a second or two. There is nothing to do there. Simply be. Be the stillness. As you continue this practice, you might start to notice other gaps, the space between two sounds, the silence, after a distant noise fades away, the pause after you finish reading a sentence in your mind. Each of these is a doorway into the same place, the silent, aware presence that is the background of all your experience. Kian sits with the master, watching the clouds. He stops naming them, stops judging them. He just watches, and he begins to notice the sky more. The vast, deep, unchanging blue. He realizes the sky is always there. Even on a completely overcast day, the sky has not gone anywhere. It is just temporarily obscured. His own inner peace, he realizes, is exactly the same. It is the silent sky of his own awareness, and it has never, ever gone away. It has only been obscured by the clouds of his thinking. This practice fundamentally shifts your sense of identity. We are culturally conditioned to believe that we are our thoughts. Our busy, important, problem-solving thoughts seem to be the very center of our being. This practice reveals that to be untrue. It shows us that our true identity is the silence, the awareness in which the thoughts appear. To realize this is to go from believing you are one of the actors on a noisy stage to realizing you are the silent, vast theater itself. What a relief, what freedom. As you rest here, continue to hold this gentle intention. Be more interested in the silence than the noise. Value the gaps. Cherish them. When you notice one, no matter how brief, acknowledge it with a sense of quiet joy. Ah, there it is. You are returning home. Do not worry if thoughts seem to rush in to fill the space. That is what the mind does. Just as nature abhors a vacuum, the conditioned mind abhors silence. It will rush in with, "Wow, I'm doing it. I found a gap," which, of course, is just another thought, another cloud covering the sky. When this happens, there is no need for frustration. Simply smile at the mind's old habits and gently return to your patient watching. Over time, something miraculous begins to happen. What you put your attention on grows stronger. By gently and consistently noticing these gaps, they begin to widen. The pauses become longer. The river of thought begins to slow down. its current becoming more gentle and meandering. The mind becomes naturally more spacious. This is not an aggressive act of stopping thought. It is a gentle process of inviting silence. The shrieking monkeys in Kian's mind are not beaten into submission. They are simply finding that the silent, open space is a more comfortable place to be, and they begin to settle down on their own. You are discovering that peace is not a distant goal to be achieved after years of hard practice. Peace is here, now, in this very next gap between your thoughts. It is always accessible. It is the most intimate, fundamental part of who you are. Having discovered this inner spaciousness, this silent sky of awareness, we can now learn how to actively cultivate it. We can learn how to tend to this inner world as a gardener tends to the earth. In our next section, we will return to the story of Kian and explore the Master's second great teaching, the art of tending your inner garden. We have journeyed deep into the landscape of the mind with our scholar, Kian. He has learned to see his racing thoughts not as a solid monster, but as a flowing river. He has learned to sit on the bank of this river, watching the currents of his mind without being swept away. Through the parable of the empty boat, he has discovered the freedom that comes from not reacting, not filling the world with blame and assumption. And most recently, he has discovered the silent sky of awareness, the profound peace that exists in the subtle gaps between his thoughts. He has glimpsed his true nature, but a glimpse, however profound, is not enough to sustain a life of peace. Amidst the challenges of the world, it is one thing to find a moment of quiet in the presence of a master on a remote mountain. It is another to carry that quiet back down into the valley. And so, Master Ryoten decides it is time for Kian's second great lesson. It is time to move from the passive act of watching to the gentle, active practice of cultivation. One morning, the Master leads Kian to a small, forgotten patch of land behind the hut. It is a sad sight. The earth is dry, hard, and cracked. Is choked with a thick congregation of stubborn weeds, thistles, thorny vines, and tough, stringy grasses. A few gnarled, withered stalks hint that something beautiful may have once tried to grow here, but it has long since been overwhelmed. Ryoten hands Kian a simple, sturdy trowel. "You have become good at watching the sky," the Master says, his voice gentle but firm. "Now you must learn to tend the earth. Your mind is this garden. For your entire life, you have allowed the weeds of worry and fear to grow wild, unchecked. They have consumed all the light and all the water. You have not prepared the soil. Your task now is not just to notice the moments of silence, but to actively cultivate a mind where peace can flourish." Kian looks at the neglected plot, then at the simple tool in his hand, and a wave of resistance rises in him. He is a scholar, a man of letters and lofty ideas. His hands are soft, accustomed to the smooth feel of bamboo scrolls, not the grit of the earth. He came here seeking sublime, philosophical wisdom, and he is being asked to perform the work of a common laborer. "Master," he begins to protest, "I don't understand. How will pulling weeds quiet my mind?" Ryoten smiles, a smile that holds deep understanding of Kian's pride and confusion. "The most profound wisdom is often the most simple, Kian. Your mind is not separate from your actions. You cannot think your way to peace. You must practice it. You must live it. Go now, tend the garden." And so, reluctantly at first, Kian kneels down in the dirt and begins his work. And as we stay with him, we too can learn the timeless practice of tending our own inner garden. This metaphor is a perfect guide for the cultivation of a peaceful mind Let us walk through it together. First, there are the weeds. The weeds in our inner garden are our habitual, unhelpful, negative thought patterns. They are the recurring loops of anxiety about the future. They are the bitter roots of past resentments. They are the thorny vines of self-criticism that wrap around everything and choke it. Like the weeds in Keon's garden, these thoughts require no effort to grow. They thrive on neglect. They pop up automatically, a product of our conditioning, our fears, our past experiences. They are masters of survival. Keon's first impulse is to attack them. He grabs a thick thistle and yanks it with all his might, but the thorns prick his hand and the root breaks off, remaining deep in the soil, ready to sprout again. He attacks his task with frustration and anger, and he only ends up with sore hands and a sense of failure. The master, seeing this, approaches him. Do not fight the weeds, he advises, that only spreads their seeds. You must be gentle. See the weed clearly, acknowledge it. Then get your fingers down to the very root and gently, firmly persuade it from the earth. Do it without anger. The weed is not evil. It is simply growing where it does not belong. This is the practice of mindful recognition. When a negative thought pattern arises, a worry, a judgment, we do not try to violently suppress it. That gives it more energy. Instead, we see it clearly. We label it without judgment. Ah, this is the what-if weed. Or here is the I'm not good enough weed. We acknowledge its presence. Then, by not engaging with it, by not watering it with our attention and belief, we gently loosen its roots. We let it go. We return our focus to the breath, or to the task at hand. This is how we gently persuade the weeds from the soil of our minds. The next step is tending the soil. Keon discovers that after pulling some weeds, the ground is still hard and unforgiving. The master shows him how to use his tool to break up the compacted earth, to turn it over, to let it breathe. He mixes in some rich, dark compost from a pile. Behind the hut, the soil becomes soft, dark, and receptive. This is the foundational work of our meditation practice. Every time you sit and focus on your breath, every time you guide your attention through a body scan, you are tending your inner soil. You are breaking up the hard, compacted habits of distraction and creating a mental environment that is fertile, calm, and receptive. A mind that is grounded in the present moment is a mind that is ready for something beautiful to grow. You cannot plant a flower in a slab of concrete. You must first prepare the soil. Finally, and most importantly, there is the planting of good seeds. A garden is not defined by the absence of weeds, but by the presence of what you choose to cultivate. The master gives Keon a small pouch of seeds. Now, he says, you must plant what you wish to harvest. Plant seeds of kindness. Plant seeds of gratitude. Plant seeds of joy and compassion. This is the active and joyful part of our practice. We can deliberately choose to cultivate positive, wholesome states of mind. In the Buddhist tradition, these are sometimes called the divine abodes, for to dwell in them is to dwell in heaven. We can start with the seed of gratitude. Keon, his hands now covered in dirt, feels the warmth of the sun on his back. For the first time, he doesn't just notice it, he truly feels it. And a seed of simple gratitude sprouts in his heart for that warmth. Let us try this now, together. In the quiet of your own being, let us plant a single, powerful seed. Let it be the seed of gratitude. Let your awareness gently scan your experience right now and find one small thing for which you can feel genuinely grateful. It does not have to be big. It could be the comfort of the bed or chair that is supporting you. It could be the simple, miraculous fact of your breath flowing in and out without any effort. It could be a memory of a kind word someone once shared with you. Find that one thing. Now, hold it in your awareness. Water it with your full attention. Feel the genuine feeling of gratitude in your body. Where do you feel it? As a warmth in your chest, a softness in your face. Let this feeling grow. Let it fill your inner garden. This is not just a positive thought. It is a deep cultivation of a wholesome state. You are actively planting a seed that, with time and repetition, will grow into a beautiful, strong flower, making less room for the weeds. We can plant seeds of compassion, feeling the wish for others to be free from suffering. We can plant seeds of loving kindness, wishing for ourselves and others to be happy and well. We can plant seeds of joy, taking delight in the simple goodness of life. Ki works for days in the garden. His body aches, but his mind, for the first time, is becoming quiet. He is not lost in philosophical abstraction. He is engaged in a simple, mindful, and purposeful task. He is transforming a piece of the world, and in doing so, he is transforming himself. He learns that wisdom is not just about passive observation, but about active, compassionate cultivation. He is learning that peace is not something you find, but something you grow. The practice of tending your inner garden is a lifelong joy. It requires patience and what the Zen masters call right effort, not a frantic, aggressive striving, but a consistent, gentle, and compassionate application of awareness. Each day you can pull a few weeds, turn a little soil, and plant a single good seed. And over time, without you even realizing it, your inner world will begin to blossom. But even the most well-tended garden is subject to the whims of nature. A sudden storm can flatten the flowers. A drought can wither the leaves. In our own lives, despite our best efforts, we will still encounter unavoidable pain. So how do we handle these inevitable storms in our garden? This leads us to our next teaching, the profound wisdom of the two arrows. As our scholar Kion continues to tend his inner garden, he begins to experience a sense of peace and purpose he has never known. The simple, rhythmic work of pulling weeds, turning the soil, and planting seeds has grounded his frantic mind. He is learning that peace is an active process, a cultivation. His inner landscape, once a thorny wasteland, is now dotted with the small green shoots of gratitude and presence. But the path of practice is not a straight line. Life is not a predictable environment. Even the most dedicated gardener cannot control the weather. One afternoon, as Kian is clearing a patch of rocky ground, the sharp edge of a buried stone slices his palm. The cut is not deep, but it is sudden and painful. He cries out, dropping his tool. Blood wells up, red and vivid against the dirt on his skin. This is the first arrow. Instantly, his mind, despite all his recent practice, reacts with a cascade of familiar negativity. Idiot, the old voice of his inner critic shrieks. You're so clumsy. You can't even do this simple task without hurting yourself. Then, another thought follows immediately. This will probably get infected. It will ruin all my work. I'll never finish this garden. This is hopeless. Then another. Why does this always happen to me? Everything is a struggle. He sits there by the rocks, cradling his hand, but the sting of the physical cut is now almost completely overshadowed by the burning pain of these mental attacks. He feels a wave of despair, a familiar feeling of failure and frustration. Master, Ryoten, who has been watching from a distance, walks over. He looks not at Kian's hand, but at his face, which is contorted in suffering. The cut is painful, is it not? The master asks, gently. Yes, Kian says, through gritted teeth. But it's not just the cut, I'm a failure. I'm so clumsy, said the master, nodding slowly. The first arrow was painful enough. Why did you immediately shoot yourself with a second, and a third, and a fourth? Kian looks up, confused. A second arrow. This brings us to one of the most practical and profound teachings in all of Buddhism, a lesson that comes directly from the Buddha himself. It is the parable of the two arrows. The Buddha once asked his monks, if a person is struck by an arrow, is it painful? The monks replied, yes, Blessed One, it is painful. The Buddha then asked, and if that person is then struck by a second arrow in the very same spot, is it not even more painful? Yes, Blessed One, the monks replied, it is doubly painful. Exactly, the Buddha said. In life, we cannot always control the first arrow, but the second arrow we shoot into ourselves. Let us unpack this incredible teaching together, for it holds the key to transforming our relationship with pain. The first arrow is the inevitable, unavoidable pain of existence. It is the raw, unfiltered experience of life's difficulties. The first arrow is the physical pain of Kian's cut hand. It is the ache of a migraine, the sorrow of losing a loved one, the sting of being criticized, the fear that arises during financial hardship, the discomfort of illness, the simple fact of growing older. No one on this earth is exempt from the first arrow. It is a fundamental condition of being human. To wish for a life with no first arrows is to wish for an impossibility. It is a recipe for constant disappointment. The second arrow is our reaction to the first. It is the mental suffering we add on top of the initial, unavoidable pain. The second arrow is not the cut on Kian's hand. It is the thought, I'm an idiot. The second arrow is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. It is the blame. It's their fault this happened. It is the catastrophizing. This is the end of the world. It is the self-pity. Why me? Why is life so unfair to me? It is the anger directed at the pain itself. I hate this feeling. I can't stand it. All of these reactions, the judgment, the fear, the resentment, the rumination, second arrows. And they are the arrows that cause the vast majority of our suffering. The first arrow is pain. The second arrow is suffering. The pain of the first arrow is often sharp but temporary. The suffering caused by the second, third, fourth, and 100th arrows can last for days, weeks, or even a lifetime. Let's make this even more clear with examples from our own lives. Imagine you have a presentation at work. The first arrow might be the feeling of nervousness in your stomach, the shaky hands, the dry mouth. This is a natural, physiological response. The second arrows are the thoughts that follow. I'm going to forget everything. Everyone will think I'm a fraud. If this goes badly, my career is over. I'm not prepared enough. These thoughts take the simple, physical pain of nervousness and transform it into the immense suffering of performance anxiety. Imagine you experience the end of a relationship. The first arrow is the raw, pure pain of grief and loss. It is a clean wound, and it needs to be felt. It is the heart's natural response. The second arrows are the thoughts of guilt. If only I had been better, they would have stayed. Or blame, it was all their fault, they ruined my life. Or hopeless stories about the future. I will be alone forever. These second arrows infect the clean wound of grief, preventing it from healing and turning it into a chronic source of suffering. The most powerful truth the Buddha offered with this teaching is this: the first arrow is, for the most part, not your fault. It is a condition of life, but the second arrow is optional. It is a product of our conditioned, reactive mind. And because it is a product of our mind, we can learn not to shoot it. This is not about pretending the first arrow doesn't hurt. It is not about spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. In fact, it is the opposite. The practice of the two arrows begins with fully, compassionately, and mindfully acknowledging the pain of the first arrow. We must allow the clean pain to be there. We must make space for it. Kian's first step is to simply be with the raw, physical sensation of the cut on his hand, to breathe into it, to say to himself, with kindness, yes, this hurts. It is okay that this hurts. Then, the second step is to watch the mind with gentle vigilance. It is to watch for the impulse to shoot the second arrow. As the thought "I'm so clumsy" arises, we can learn to see it for what it is, not an objective truth, but a second arrow. We can recognize it. There is the arrow of self-judgment. And in the moment of recognizing it as a second arrow, we create a choice. We can see the arrow in our hand, and we can choose to let it drop to the ground. We do not have to fire it into the original wound. Let us try a brief reflection on this. Gently bring to mind a situation in your own life, perhaps something recent that has been painful. It could be a physical discomfort, an emotional hurt, a disappointment. First, can you connect with the pure pain of the first arrow, without any story? What was the raw sensation? Was it a tightness in the chest, a hollow feeling in the stomach, the hot flush of embarrassment? Just for a moment, be present with that raw data, that clean pain. Offer it your compassion. It is real and it is valid. Now, with that same compassion, and without any judgment, can you notice if you shot any second arrows? Did you add a layer of blame, a story about how things should have been? Did you tell yourself you couldn't handle it? Did you criticize yourself or someone else? Simply notice these thoughts. See them not as facts, but as second arrows. See how they added a layer of suffering on top of the initial pain. The practice is simply this: to see the difference. That's it. In seeing the difference, you break the spell. You interrupt the unconscious chain reaction of suffering. Kian listens to the master, cradling his bleeding hand. He understands. The cut was the first arrow. His spiral into self-loathing was the second, third, and fourth. The master helps him clean the wound and wraps it in a clean cloth. The physical pain begins to subside. But the real healing is the insight. He sees how he has spent his entire life shooting these second arrows into himself, turning every small pain into a grand tragedy. This teaching is an act of profound self-love. It is the way we learn to properly tend to our own wounds. It is how we care for ourselves when the inevitable storms of life strike our inner garden. We cannot stop the rain, but we can choose not to stand in the field and curse the sky, making ourselves miserable and cold. We can instead take shelter, acknowledging the storm is real, and wait for it to pass. To do this, to catch ourselves before we fire that second arrow, we need an anchor. We need a place of stability to return to, a grounding force when the pain of the first arrow shakes us. This is why the most fundamental practice in this tradition, the anchor that holds all other teachings, is the breath. And it is to this anchor that we will turn in our next section. we have walked with Kion through the garden of his mind, learning the profound lesson of the two arrows. We have come to see that while life will inevitably strike us with the first arrow of pain, the second arrow of suffering, the arrow of our own reactivity, blame, and catastrophic thinking, is one we can choose not to fire. This insight is the key to resilience, the secret to navigating hardship with a measure of grace. But, as our scholar Kian discovered while cradling his wounded hand, the insight alone is not always enough. In the heat of the moment, when the first arrow strikes with shocking force, our conditioning takes over. The second arrow of reaction seems to fly from the bow before we are even aware we've drawn the string. The spiral of suffering begins instantly. He asked the master, his voice tinged with a familiar desperation, "But how do I stop it? How do I create that space between the pain and the reaction?" Master Ryoten did not offer him a complex theory. He did not give him a phrase to memorize or a philosophy to debate. He simply asked a question. "Kion," he said, his voice calm and clear, "when the stone first cut your hand, in that moment of shock and pain, where was your attention?" Kion thought for a moment. "It was on the pain," he replied, "and then on the blood, and then on my own foolishness." "I see," the master said. "And where was your breath?" The question stopped. Kian cold, his breath. He hadn't thought about it at all. It was there, of course, flowing in and out as it always did. But his awareness had completely abandoned it. The moment a first arrow strikes, Ryoten continued, "Your very first task, before all others, is to come home to the breath. Your mind will want to spin a story. It will want to find someone to blame. It will want to panic. Do not follow it there. Let the mind do what it does, but bring your attention, as if your life depended on it, to the simple, physical sensation of your breathing. The breath is the unbreakable anchor that can hold you steady in the wildest of storms. Before you think, before you speak, before you react, you breathe. This is the practice. Tonight, let us explore this practice in its fullness. Let us come to know the breath not just as an automatic bodily function, but as our most faithful friend, our wisest teacher, and our most reliable refuge. The breath is the foundation of this entire journey. Why the breath? What makes this simple, humble process so powerful? First, it is always with us. From the moment we are born to the moment we die, it is our constant companion. You do not need to purchase it. You do not need to travel to find it. You do not need any special equipment to access it. In any moment of chaos or distress, wherever you are, your anchor is already with you. Second, and most crucially, the breath is always in the present moment. Think about this. You cannot take a breath that is in the past. You cannot take a breath that is in the future. The breath you are feeling right now is happening right now. Therefore, to place your full attention on the breath is to pull your awareness immediately and completely out of the tormented realms of past regrets and future anxieties, and to ground it in the only place where life is actually happening, the here and now. The racing mind feeds on the past and the future. It starves in the present moment. The breath is the gateway to that present moment. Third, the breath is a bridge between our inner and outer worlds, between the mind and the body. Notice how your breathing changes with your emotional state. When you are anxious or angry, the breath becomes quick, shallow, and located high in the chest. When you are calm and relaxed, the breath naturally becomes slower, deeper, and centered in the abdomen. This connection works in both directions. While it can be very difficult to tell a racing mind to just calm down, you can consciously guide your breath to become slower and deeper. As you do, you send a powerful, undeniable signal to your nervous system that the danger has passed, that you are safe. The body relaxes, and the mind, tethered to the body, naturally follows suit. So let us now drop into the direct experience of this anchor. Let us move from theory to practice. Wherever you are, in whatever position you have found, simply bring your attention to the fact that you are breathing. There is no need to change a thing. You are not trying to breathe in a special way. You are simply noticing the breathing that is already happening. First, let's find where you feel the breath most clearly. For some, it is the sensation of the air entering and leaving the nostrils, a feeling of coolness on the inhalation and a subtle warmth on the exhalation. For others, it is the feeling of the gentle rise and fall of the chest, a subtle expansion and contraction, and for others still, the sensation is most vivid in the abdomen, in the soft expansion of the belly as you breathe in, and the gentle release as you breathe out. Take a moment now to find your spot. Nostrils, chest, or belly. There is no right or wrong answer. Whichever sensation is most clear to you, let that be your chosen spot for the anchor. And now, just rest your attention there, as lightly as a butterfly resting on a flower. Let's become curious about the quality of the breath. Without judgment, just notice. Is your breath deep right now, or is it shallow? Is it fast or slow? Is the texture of the breath smooth, or is it a little bit ragged? Whatever you find is perfectly okay. We are not here to judge our breath. We are here to become intimate with it, to get to know its nature in this very moment. Now, let's explore the full journey of a single breath. Let us ride its wave. Bring your attention to the very beginning of an inhalation. Feel the first touch of air and follow the sensation as it fills your lungs. Ride that wave of sensation all the way to the very top, and at the peak of the inhalation. Just before it turns to become the exhalation, there is a pause, a moment of suspended stillness. See if you can notice that turning point now. Follow the wave of the exhalation. Feel the release, the letting go. Follow it all the way down to the very end as the air leaves your body. Feel the body soften and relax with the out-breath. And at the very bottom of the exhalation, after all the air has been released, there is another pause. A quiet, empty valley of stillness before the body's wisdom calls for the next breath to begin. This valley is a place of profound rest. See if you can allow your awareness to settle in that pause. Just for a moment. Let's continue this for a few cycles in silence. Just you and your breath, following the full wave, in-breath, pause, out-breath, pause. Now, let's bring the metaphor of the anchor fully into the practice. As you rest your attention on this cycle of breathing, your mind will inevitably wander. This is not a mistake. It is simply what minds do. A thought about the past will arise, a plan for tomorrow, a sound in the room, a sensation of restlessness. Think of these as currents in the ocean, trying to pull your ship away from its mooring. The moment you realize your mind has drifted, that is a moment of mindfulness. In that moment, there is no need for frustration or self-criticism. There would be a second arrow. Instead, you simply acknowledge where you have been, are thinking, and then you feel the gentle tug of the anchor rope, and you gently, kindly guide your awareness back to the anchor, back to the simple, physical sensation of the breath in your body, over and over again, 1,000 times if necessary. This is the practice. It is a bicep curl for your attention. Muscle, each time you wander, and each time you gently return, you are strengthening your capacity for presence. You are deepening the home you are building for yourself in the here and now. So as you continue to lie here, as you continue to rest, let the breath be your constant companion. Let it be the gentle, rhythmic soundtrack to this journey inward. With every inhalation, feel yourself gathering your awareness, bringing it home. With every exhalation, feel yourself letting go, releasing tension, sinking deeper into relaxation. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. This simple practice is what Kian takes back to his garden. When he feels the first arrow of frustration as a weed refuses to budge, he comes back to his breath. When he feels the first arrow of fatigue, under the hot sun, he comes back to his breath. The breath becomes the stable ground upon which he can practice everything else he has learned. It is the thread that holds all the other beads of wisdom together. And now that we have established this unbreakable anchor of stability within ourselves, we are ready to look at one of the mind's most persistent and turbulent habits, the habit of constant judgment. With the breath as our ground, we can now explore a timeless story that teaches us how to find peace amidst the unpredictable ups and downs of life. We turn now to the wisdom of the farmer and his horse. With the breath as our steady anchor, we have found a place of refuge from the storms of reactivity. By returning to the simple, physical sensation of breathing, we create a sacred pause between the first arrow of life's painful events and the second arrow of our own suffering. We have built a foundation of presence. Now, from this more stable ground, we can begin to observe a deeper, more subtle habit of the mind, a habit that is one of the primary sources of our inner turmoil. It is the mind's relentless, automatic tendency to judge everything. Think about it. From the moment we wake, our mind is engaged in a constant process of labeling. I slept well, good. I slept poorly, bad. The coffee tastes perfect, good. The traffic is terrible, bad. This is a pleasant feeling. This is an annoying person. This is a wonderful opportunity. This is a dreadful problem. Our entire day is spent on a roller coaster of attachment and aversion, grasping at what we label good and pushing away what we label bad. This constant judgment, this endless commentary, creates a state of perpetual mental friction and unease. We are never truly at rest, because we are always trying to control reality to match our preferences. Zen and its sister tradition, Taoism, offer a radically different approach. It is an approach born of deep wisdom and humility. It is the path of equanimity. To explore this path, we turn to a timeless and beloved story. It is the story of an old farmer and his horse. As you listen, let the story bypass your analytical mind and speak directly to a deeper, wiser part of you. In a small, remote village in ancient China, there lived a wise old farmer. He was poor in possessions, but rich in tranquility. His most prized material possession was a beautiful, strong horse that he used for plowing his fields. One day, the gate to his corral was left unlatched, and the horse ran away, disappearing into the wild. Mountainous country. Soon, all the farmer's neighbors came to his house to console him. "Oh, what terrible luck," they said, shaking their heads in pity. "Your only horse is gone. How will you ever plow your fields? This is a disaster." The old farmer simply listened, smiled gently, and replied, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" The neighbors went away, muttering to each other about how the old man must have finally lost his senses to grief. A week later, a strange thing happened. The farmer's horse returned, and it was not alone. It had been joined by a herd of 12 magnificent wild horses, who followed it right into the farmer's corral. Suddenly, the poor farmer was the owner of 13 horses. The neighbors, hearing the news, came running back to his house, this time their faces beaming with excitement. "What incredible luck," they exclaimed. "You lost 1 horse, and now you have 13. You are a wealthy man. This is a true blessing from the heavens." The old farmer surveyed the magnificent animals, smiled his gentle smile, and replied, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" The neighbors went away baffled, shaking their heads at his strange refusal to celebrate his good fortune. The following week, the farmer's only son decided to try and tame one of the wild horses. The horse was powerful and untamed, and it threw the young man to the ground. The fall was bad, and the son's leg was broken in several places. He would be unable to walk for many months. Once again, the procession of neighbors arrived at the farmer's gate, their faces long with sympathy. "Oh, what dreadful luck," they cried. "Your son is badly injured. He is your only help, and now he is incapacitated. This is truly a curse." The old farmer, sitting by his son's bedside, looked at them, smiled his quiet, unwavering smile, and said, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" A few weeks after that, the emperor's army marched into the village. A war had broken out in a distant province, and the generals were conscripting every able-bodied young man to be sent to the front lines. The chances of survival were known to be very slim. The soldiers went from house to house, taking every family's sons. When they came to the old farmer's house, they saw his son lying in bed with his badly broken leg. They took one look, declared him unfit for duty, and moved on. His life was spared, and the neighbors, of course, understood. This story is a powerful medicine for the judging mind. The wisdom of the farmer is not one of apathy or pessimism. It is a wisdom born from a profound understanding of the nature of reality. He understands that life is a vast, interconnected web, and that we, from our limited vantage point, can only ever see a tiny thread of it at any given time. We see one event, and we rush to label it as a final destination, a good thing or a bad thing. The farmer knows that every event is not a destination, but a doorway, leading to another event and another, in a chain of cause and effect so complex that it is beyond our capacity to fully grasp. His refrain, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" is not a statement of ignorance. It is a statement of profound humility. It is an acknowledgement that he does not have enough information to form a final judgment. In this not knowing, there is immense freedom. He is not thrown into despair by apparent tragedy, nor is he swept away by apparent good fortune. He remains in a state of calm, observant, spacious equanimity. He inhabits the peaceful eye of life's hurricane. Now, let us bring this teaching into our own lives. Think of the energy you expend every day pushing away what you've labeled bad and clinging to what you've labeled good. It's exhausting. The project at work is a disaster. The upcoming vacation is the only thing to look forward to. This creates a life of violent swings between anxiety and craving. The farmer's way offers a release from this exhausting cycle. Let us try a gentle practice. Settle your awareness back onto your anchor, the breath. And now, become aware of the part of your mind that is like the farmer's neighbors, the part that constantly rushes in with a verdict. Gently, without judgment, reflect on your past day. Notice the small things your mind labeled. A bad night's sleep, a good conversation, an annoying interruption, a pleasant sensation. Just see this habit of labeling at work. See how automatic it is. The practice is not to stop the mind from having preferences. It is to stop automatically believing its absolute judgments. It is to introduce a space between the event and the verdict, and we can use the farmer's wisdom as a tool. When something happens and your mind immediately shouts, "This is terrible," see if you can introduce a gentle internal whisper, "Good thing, bad thing, who knows?" This simple question is a powerful circuit breaker. It interrupts the momentum of your reactivity. It creates a space of curiosity and humility. It acknowledges that you don't have the full story yet. The difficult conversation you had today, bad luck, might lead to a deeper understanding and a stronger relationship tomorrow. The opportunity you missed, bad luck, might free you up for an even better one that is just around the corner. You just don't know. In this space of not knowing, there is peace. You are no longer fighting with reality. You are allowing it to unfold with a sense of trust and openness. Kian learns this lesson in his garden. One day, a sudden frost kills some of his young seedlings. The neighbor, in his mind, cries out, "Bad luck, all that work for nothing." But then he remembers the farmer. He takes a breath. Good luck, bad luck, who knows? He gathers the withered seedlings and places them on his compost pile. Weeks later, he uses that rich compost to nourish other, stronger plants, which then flourish in a way they would not have otherwise. He learns that in nature, as in life, nothing is ever truly wasted. Every ending is the seed of a new beginning. So as you continue to rest, let go of the need to have everything figured out. Give yourself permission to rest in the spacious wisdom of not knowing. Let events be as they are, without the heavy burden of your immediate judgment. In doing so, you build a deep and abiding stability within yourself. You become less like a leaf tossed in the wind and more like a great mountain, which remains steadfast and serene whether it is bathed in sunlight or battered by a storm. This deep inner stability, cultivated through the anchor of the breath and the wisdom of non-judgment, allows us to finally come home to our bodies in the most profound way. It prepares us to let go of the thinking mind entirely and to dissolve into pure sensory awareness. And this is the path we will take in our next section, as we embark on a deep and restorative journey through the mindful body scan. We have journeyed far on this path of inner discovery tonight. We have found our anchor in the constant, faithful rhythm of the breath. We have learned the profound, liberating wisdom of the farmer, seeing the folly of our constant rush to judgment. We have cultivated a stable, spacious foundation within ourselves, a place of equanimity from which we can witness the unfolding of our lives with less struggle and more grace. Now, with this stability as our ground, we will embark on a different kind of journey. We will move from the realm of stories, parables, and concepts into the world of pure, direct, sensory experience. So often, a racing mind is a direct symptom of being disconnected from the body. We live our lives almost entirely from the neck up, lost in a virtual world of thoughts, plans, and worries. We treat the body like a vehicle, a taxi for the head, and we forget to inhabit it, to feel it, to listen to its quiet wisdom. This practice is the great homecoming. It is the antidote to that disconnection. It is the mindful body scan. The intention here is simple, yet profound. We are not trying to fix anything. We are not trying to change what we feel or force ourselves to relax. We are simply going to move our awareness through the body, part by part, and listen. We are going to bring a kind, gentle, and curious attention to the physical sensations that are present in each area, whatever they may be. It is an act of deep listening, a way of saying to every cell in your body, after a long day of neglect, I am here with you now. I am paying attention. So let us begin this journey of reunion. Allow your awareness, which has been resting on the breath, to travel down, down, down through your body, like a gentle stream of light, all the way to the very tips of the toes on your left foot. Bring your full, undivided attention to your left big toe. Can you feel it? You may notice sensations of warmth or coolness. You might feel a subtle tingling or a sense of pressure from a blanket or a sock. You might even feel nothing at all, a kind of numbness. Whatever is there or not there is perfectly fine. If you feel nothing, simply be aware of the absence of sensation. That too is a form of observation now. Allow your awareness to expand, to include all the toes on your left foot, holding them all in a gentle, caring attention. Then let this awareness seep into the sole of your left foot, an area that has worked so hard for you today. Notice the arch, the ball of the foot, the heel where it makes contact with the surface beneath you. Just feeling, no judgment, no story. Now, bring this same quality of gentle, curious attention to your right foot, starting with the toes, feeling into the right big toe, and then all the toes together. Then expanding your awareness to include the entire right foot, the sole, the heel, the top of the foot, the ankle, simply registering the landscape of physical sensation as it is. Now, let this warm, curious awareness begin to travel slowly up both of your legs. Like water rising, let it flow into your lower legs, your calves, and your shins, feeling the shape of the muscles, the texture of your skin, the solidness of the bone within. Allow the awareness to continue its journey up into your knees, feeling the front of the knee, the kneecap, and the soft, sensitive space behind the knee, holding this complex, vital joint in a kind, receptive awareness. And now, let the attention flow up into the large, powerful muscles of your thighs, both front and back. These are some of the largest muscles in your body. Feel their weight, their density. Feel them surrendering their weight completely to the surface that supports them. Let them be soft. Let them be heavy. Bring your awareness now to the area of your hips, your pelvis, your buttocks, feeling the solid bony structure here, feeling the points of contact, the pressure, the weight of your body resting here. This is the bowl of your physical being, and you can allow it to be heavy, grounded, and completely at rest. From this grounded base, let the river of awareness flow up into your torso. First, into your abdomen. Rest your attention on your belly. Feel the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall with each breath. A soft belly is a relaxed belly. Let go of any tension you might be holding here. Let this area be soft and receptive now. Let the awareness expand upward into your chest, feeling the gentle expansion of the rib cage on the in-breath and the subtle release on the out-breath. Perhaps you can feel, deep within the chest, the steady, faithful, rhythmic beat of your own heart. Feel this gentle rhythm, the heartbeat of life itself. With a sense of quiet gratitude, let your attention now fill your entire back. From the lower back, feeling its gentle curve, up through the middle back, and into the upper back and shoulder blades. Feel the broad expanse of your back. Notice the points where it connects with the mattress or chair. Let your back release its burden, letting go into the support that is always there for it. Now, allow this wave of mindful attention to flow down both of your arms simultaneously, flowing from your shoulders through the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, and all the way down into your hands. Your hands have done so much today. Now they can simply be. Feel the palms of your hands. Are they warm, cool, tingling? Feel the backs of your hands. And then bring an intricate awareness to each finger, one by one, feeling them from the inside out. Let your hands be heavy, limp, and full of a quiet, living stillness. Gently now, guide your awareness up to your neck and your throat, an area where we often hold tension. Let the muscles of your neck be soft, allowing your head to feel heavy and fully supported. And now, let your awareness sweep up into your face like a soft, warm cloth. Bring your attention to your jaw. Let it be slack and released. Feel your lips resting gently, your tongue resting softly in the bottom of your mouth. Let your awareness fill your cheeks, your nose, feeling the air at the nostrils. Bring this gentle attention to your eyes, letting them rest deeply in their sockets. Feel the space between your eyebrows, soft and open. And feel your forehead, smooth and calm. Finally, let your awareness come to rest at the very top of your head, at your crown, feeling the sensation of your scalp. And now, in the last moments of this practice, see if you can feel your entire body all at once. From the tips of your toes to the top of your head, feel your body as a single, unified field of sensation. A breathing, pulsing, living whole. You are not just in a body, you are a body. You have come home. This practice of inhabiting the body is a powerful antidote to the racing mind. A mind that is fully anchored in the sensations of the present moment has no room for anxious chatter about the past or future. You have returned to the source. You have returned to yourself. And from this deeply grounded place, we can observe the nature of our experience with even greater clarity. We can begin to truly understand the great law of impermanence. Resting here, in this state of deep physical presence cultivated by the body scan, we are perfectly poised for our next great insight. Having come home to the body, we notice something profound. We notice that the landscape of sensation is not static. A feeling of warmth in the hand gives way to a subtle tingling. An itch arises and then fades away. The feeling of the breath is a constant, rhythmic dance of expansion and release. Nothing holds still. From this deeply embodied place, we can now turn our awareness to the flow of our mind and see this same truth reflected there. A memory appears, unbidden, and then dissolves. A plan for tomorrow surfaces and then is replaced by a sound from outside. Joy, sadness, peace, restlessness, they all come, they all stay for a while, and they all go. This direct seeing of the ever-changing nature of our experience is the gateway to understanding one of Buddhism's most fundamental teachings, the teaching of anicca, or impermanence. We return, for a moment, to our scholar Kion. Many weeks have now passed since his arrival on the mountain. He is no longer the frantic, desperate seeker who first climbed the path. His work in the garden, his practice with the breath, and his time with the master have cultivated a quiet presence within him. One afternoon, he is sitting silently beside Ryoten on a ledge overlooking the valley. The sky is a brilliant, vast blue, and a few solitary white clouds are drifting lazily across it. For a long time, neither of them speaks. Then, the master, without taking his eyes off the sky, says softly, Kion, look at those clouds. They are born from the clear sky. They take a form, they float for a while, and then they dissolve back into the clear sky. Your thoughts are just like that. Your feelings are just like that. Your pains and your pleasures are just like that. You have spent your whole life chasing the beautiful white clouds and running from the dark storm clouds. The source of your suffering has been this. You have forgotten that you are not the clouds, you are the sky. This is the great teaching. Let this metaphor sink deep into your awareness tonight. The sky of your own consciousness. Our suffering arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of reality. We live as if things are permanent. When we experience a moment of joy or pleasure, beautiful sunset, a loving embrace, a moment of success, we cling to it. We try to grasp it, to hold on to it, to make it last forever. This clinging, this resistance to the natural law of change, creates a deep, subtle tension in our being. We are afraid of the moment ending, and so we cannot even fully enjoy it while it is here. Conversely, when we experience something painful or unpleasant, difficult emotion, a physical ache, a setback in life, we resist it with all our might. We push it away, we deny it, we hate it. We believe this dark cloud should not be in our sky. This resistance, this aversion, is a struggle against the nature of reality itself, and it is exhausting. It is the second arrow in its purest form. The path to peace, the wisdom of the masters, lies not in learning how to control the weather, not in becoming an expert at making only white clouds appear. That is impossible. The path to peace lies in realizing that you are the sky. Let us enter this practice together. I invite you to bring this image into your mind's eye right now. See your own awareness, your own consciousness, as a vast, open, boundless sky. It is limitless, extending in all directions. Its natural state is one of brilliant clarity and profound peace. It is untouched, unstained, and utterly free. This sky is the silent, witnessing presence that you have been cultivating all evening. This is your true nature. Now, as you rest as the sky, simply watch the weather of your experience as it passes through. A thought about something you need to do tomorrow appears. See it as a small, grey cloud drifting into view. You don't need to do anything about it. You don't need to climb on it or push it away. Simply watch it. Notice its shape, its texture, and then watch as the winds of time naturally carry it along, until it dissolves at the far edge of the sky, revealing the clear, peaceful blue that was always there, even when the cloud was obscuring. A feeling of sadness or loneliness might arise. See it as a heavy, dark rain cloud. Do not be afraid of it. As the sky, you are vast enough to hold even the biggest of storms. The storm cannot harm the sky. It is just an event passing through. Allow the cloud to be there. Allow its rain to fall if it must. And know that like all clouds, it will eventually exhaust itself and pass on, leaving the sky clear and washed clean. A memory of a happy moment might appear. See it as a beautiful, sunlit, fluffy white cloud. Enjoy its beauty. Bathe in its light. But do not try to grasp it or hold it back from its journey across the sky. Thank it for its visit and let it go. To cling to it is to suffer when it inevitably changes. This is the practice of non-identification. I am not this thought. I am not this feeling. I am not this sensation. I am the spacious awareness in which all of these things are appearing and disappearing. This realization is the ultimate liberation. It means that no matter what is happening in your life, no matter how turbulent the weather of your experience, the core of your being, the sky of your awareness remains pristine, peaceful, and unharmed. When you know yourself as the sky, you are no longer afraid of the weather. Kian watches the clouds with the master, and he finally understands. The racing mind he suffered from was simply a period of very fast, very stormy weather. He had believed he was the storm. Now he sees that he was, and always has been, the calm, silent sky who was witnessing the storm. This changes everything. He can let the clouds of his mind come and go without taking them so personally, without believing they are the ultimate reality. As you continue to rest here, abide in this sky-like awareness. Let the clouds of your inner world drift by, a thought, a feeling, a sound. Let them come, let them be, let them go. Know yourself as the vast, open, peaceful space that allows all of life to happen. There is a profound and unshakable peace in this realization, and it is from this place of spaciousness that we can now turn to address one of the most persistent and difficult storm clouds we all face, the nagging voice of the inner critic. We are abiding as the sky, watching the clouds of our experience come and go. We have come to see, through the wisdom of impermanence, that no thought, no feeling, no sensation is permanent. They all arise, and they all pass away. This gives us a great sense of space and freedom. And yet, as we watch our inner weather, some of us may notice that certain clouds are recurring. There are particular storm systems that seem to hover, that follow us, that have a persistent and familiar feel. One of the most common and most painful of these recurring weather patterns is the cloud of self-judgment. It is the voice of the inner critic. You know this voice. It is the one that whispers or sometimes shouts, "You're not good enough. You always mess things up. Why did you say that? Now everyone thinks you're a fool." It is the voice that compares you to others and finds you lacking. It is the voice of doubt, shame, and fear. For many of us, this voice is the primary driver of our racing mind, the engine of our anxiety. It is a constant, draining presence in our lives. For years, we have tried to deal with this voice in all the wrong ways. Sometimes we fight it. We argue with it in our heads, trying to prove it wrong, an internal battle that only leaves us exhausted. Sometimes we surrender to it. We believe its harsh pronouncements, and we sink into feelings of worthlessness and despair. And sometimes we try to distract ourselves, to numb ourselves, to run from it, but it is always there, waiting for us in the quiet moments. Tonight, we will explore a radically different approach, an approach born from the heart of Zen wisdom. We will not fight the critic. We will not surrender to it. We will not run from it. We will learn to befriend it. We will offer it our compassion. To do this, we must first understand what the inner critic truly is. And here is the key insight. The inner critic is not your enemy. It is a primitive, misguided part of your own psyche that is trying, in its own clumsy and counterproductive way, to protect you. Imagine a fierce guard dog chained in a yard that barks ferociously at everyone who passes, by friend or foe. The dog is not evil. It is operating from a place of fear and a deep, instinctual drive to protect its territory. The inner critic is like that guard dog. At its root, it is motivated by a deep-seated fear, a fear of rejection, a fear of failure, a fear of not being loved or accepted, a fear of being kicked out of the tribe. It believes that if it criticizes you first, if it can whip you into shape and make you perfect, then you will never have to face criticism or rejection from the outside world. It thinks that by constantly pointing out your flaws, it can prevent you from making a fatal mistake. Its methods are harsh, its voice is cruel, and its strategy is deeply flawed, but its underlying intention comes from a place of fear and a desire to keep you safe. When we can see the inner critic not as a malicious demon, but as a scared, suffering, and misguided part of ourselves, everything changes. You wouldn't shout back at a terrified, barking dog. You wouldn't try to reason with it. Your heart would soften. You would want to show it that it is safe, that you are not a threat. We can learn to adopt this same attitude toward our own inner critic. Let us try this transformative practice together. It is a form of metta or loving kindness meditation, directed at the part of ourselves that gives us the most pain. First, I invite you to call to mind the voice of your inner critic. You don't need to believe it, just acknowledge its presence. What does it typically say to you? What is its favorite line of criticism? Just notice the feeling, the tone of that familiar voice. Now, instead of engaging in the usual battle, I want you to take a step back and see this voice as a separate entity, not the truth of who you are, but a character in your mind. Perhaps you can even give it a neutral name, like the warrior or the guard. Having identified it, I invite you now to do something radical. I invite you to turn toward it with an attitude of kindness and curiosity. See if you can sense the fear that lies beneath its harsh words. See it not as a powerful judge, but as a frightened part of you that is in pained doubt. We will offer it some phrases of understanding. Silently, in your own heart, you can say to this critical voice, I hear you. I know you are there. I understand that you are trying to protect me. Thank you for trying so hard to keep me safe. Feel the effect of these simple phrases. You are shifting the dynamic from one of conflict to one of acknowledgement and even gratitude. You are disarming the critic, not with force, but with understanding. And now, we will take it a step further. We will offer this part of ourselves the gift of loving kindness. Just as you would speak to a frightened child, you can now offer these phrases to your inner critic. May you be at peace. May you feel safe. May you be free from fear and suffering. May you be happy. Breathe these phrases into your heart. You are not condoning the critic's harshness. You are healing the fear. At its root, you are soothing the terrified guard dog, letting it know that it doesn't have to bark so loudly, that you are safe, that everything is okay. When you practice this regularly, a miraculous shift occurs. The inner critic begins to lose its power. Its voice becomes softer, less frequent. By meeting its harshness with kindness, you absorb its energy and transform it. The inner battleground begins to turn into a place of inner friendship, of self-compassion. Kian learns this in the garden, when he makes a mistake, and the old voice of the scholar criticizes him for being a clumsy laborer. He doesn't fight back. He simply pauses, takes a breath, and says inwardly, "Ah, there is the voice of fear. I hear you, may you be at peace." He comforts the part of him that is afraid of not being good enough, and then he returns to his work. This practice of befriending the inner critic creates a profound sense of inner safety. It is a way of creating a sanctuary inside yourself. And when you feel safe from your own attacks, it becomes so much easier to relax, to let go, and to drift into peaceful sleep. This deep sense of presence and self-compassion does not require a special time or place. It can be found in the most simple, ordinary moments of our lives, if we only know how to pay attention. And that is what we shall explore next, as we join the Master for a simple cup of tea. We have undertaken a great journey tonight. We have learned to anchor ourselves in the breath. We have seen the wisdom of non-judgment. We have explored the liberating truth of impermanence. And we have even begun the radical work of befriending our own inner critic. We have gathered a treasure trove of wisdom, powerful tools for calming the racing mind. But a question may arise. How do we integrate all of this into our actual lives? How do we take these profound mountaintop experiences and bring them down into the valley of our day-to-day existence? The Zen masters have a simple, beautiful answer. They teach that enlightenment, peace, and wisdom are not found in some far-off future state. They are found right here, right now, in the fabric of this very moment, woven into the most ordinary of activities. Our story of Kion and the Master now reaches its culmination. After many weeks of practice, of watching his mind, of tending the garden, of coming to know himself in a completely new way, Kion feels a quietness he has never known. One afternoon, the Master wordlessly beckons him to sit. He says nothing of koans or parables. He simply says, "Today we will have tea." The Master begins to prepare the tea with a slow, deliberate, and graceful attention. Kion watches, and he finds his own mind slowing down to match the Master's movements. He notices the sound of the water being poured into the kettle. He listens to the hiss of the fire and the slow rising hum of the water as it begins to heat. He watches the Master measure the dark, fragrant tea leaves into a small, earthenware pot. The Master pours the hot water over the leaves, and an aromatic steam, rich with the scent of earth and herbs, rises between them. Kion breathes it in. The Master then pours the tea into 2 simple cups. He hands one to Kion. As Kion takes the cup, he consciously brings all of his newfound awareness to the simple act. He feels the warmth of the ceramic seeping into his hands, a pleasant, grounding heat. He looks at the color of the tea, a deep, translucent amber. He watches the tiny wisps of steam dance and disappear into the air. He raises the cup, and before he drinks, he takes a moment to inhale its unique aroma. Then, slowly, mindfully, he takes a sip. He lets the liquid rest on his tongue, and he pays full attention to the complex explosion of taste, bitter, then sweet, then earthy. He swallows, feeling the warmth of the tea travel down his throat and into his stomach. In that moment, there is no past, there is no future, there are no problems to solve. There is no scholar Kion who needs to find peace. There is only the warmth of the cup, the color of the tea, the scent of the steam, the taste in his mouth. There is only this one, simple, profound moment of being alive. And in that moment, he experiences a peace more complete and more real than anything he had ever read about in his scrolls. He finally understands, not as a concept in his head, but as a living reality in his body. The kingdom of heaven is a cup of tea. This is the great teaching of everyday Zen. Any activity, no matter how mundane, can become a sacred ceremony, a profound meditation, if we bring our full, non-judgmental presence to it. The problem is, we spend most of our lives completely absent. We wash the dishes, but our mind is in the office, worrying about a deadline. We drive our car, but our mind is in the past, replaying a conversation. We eat our meals, but our mind is on the future, planning the rest of the day. We are never fully where we are. And this disconnect is a primary source of the mind's frantic, anxious energy. The antidote is the practice of monotasking the senses. It is the art of coming home, again and again, to the direct, sensory experience. of the present moment, and we can practice this right now, together, as you rest here. Let us have our own tea ceremony of the present moment. Let us begin with the sense of touch. Without moving, bring your full and gentle attention to the physical points of contact between your body and the world. Feel the texture of the sheet or blanket against your skin. Is it soft, smooth? Is it heavy or light? Feel the temperature of the air on your exposed skin, on your face or your hands. Is it cool, warm, still? Just notice these simple, direct sensations with the same curiosity Kian brought to his teacup. Now, let us bring our full awareness to the sense of hearing. Listen, what do you hear? Perhaps you can hear the soft ambient music playing, but listen deeper. Can you hear the sound of your own breath, the sound of the silence in the room? Perhaps there are distant, faint noises from outside. The practice is not to label them as annoying or pleasant. Simply receive them as pure vibration, as the soundscape of this present moment. Let your ears be like two microphones, simply recording the reality of what is here to be heard. Now, let us turn our awareness inward to the internal sense of the body. Can you feel the gentle, rhythmic pulse of your own heart? Can you feel the aliveness, the subtle vibration or energy that permeates your hands, your feet, your entire body? This is the feeling of life itself. You don't have to invent it, you just have to become quiet enough to notice it. It is always here. This is the practice. It is so simple, yet it is the culmination of all our work. To be fully present with our senses is to be fully alive. Peace is not a destination we must travel to. It is the very ground on which we are standing. If only we would notice, as we begin to draw our journey towards the deepest states of rest and sleep, we will use this quality of mindful presence to perform one final, important act of mental and emotional housekeeping. We will take all the experiences of the day we have just lived, and with great kindness, we will consciously let them go. We will prepare the mind for a night of complete, unburdened rest. We have arrived at a beautiful, quiet place on our journey together. We have cultivated stability, presence, and a deep, compassionate awareness. We have learned, through the tea ceremony of the present moment, that the peace we seek is available right here, in the simplicity of our senses. Our mind is quieter now. Our body is more relaxed. The storm has subsided now, as we stand at the threshold between waking and sleeping. We will perform one final, vital practice. It is an act of closure, an act of release, to enter the kingdom of sleep fully and restoratively. We must be willing to leave the day that has passed behind us. Often, the mind races at night because it is still chewing on the day's events. It is still processing conversations, worrying about things left undone, carrying the emotional charge of our experiences. This practice is a conscious and loving act of letting all of that go. It is a way of tidying up the room of your mind before you turn out the lights for the night. So, I invite you now to settle even more deeply into comfort and stillness. There is nothing more to learn, nothing more to analyze. There is only the gentle work of release. In your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that the day you have just lived, from the moment you woke up this morning until this very moment right now, is like a film, and you are sitting in a quiet, comfortable theater about to watch it. You are the audience, not the actor. You are watching from a place of calm, detached wisdom. Let the film begin. Let the scenes of your day flash before your mind's eye. Don't linger on any one thing for too long. Just watch the flow of events. The morning routine, the meals you ate, the people you saw, the places you went, the work you did, the moments of quiet, the moments of activity. See it all pass by on the screen of your awareness. As you watch, you are practicing the wisdom of the farmer. You are not judging the scenes as good or bad. You are simply observing the story of this one unique day in your life. Now, let us gently pause the film on one or two key moments. First, allow a moment from your day that was pleasant or joyful to come to mind. It may be something very small, the taste of your morning coffee, a moment of sunshine on your face, a kind word from a friend, a feeling of satisfaction from a task completed. See that scene on the screen. Allow yourself to feel a gentle echo of the positive feeling associated with it, and then offer a silent word of gratitude. Thank you for this moment. And as you say thank you, let that scene dissolve. Let it go. We do not need to cling even to the good. We can simply appreciate it and release it next. Allow a moment from your day that was difficult, stressful, or challenging to come forward. A moment of conflict, a feeling of frustration, a time when you felt anxious or sad. See this scene on the screen. But remember, you are the safe, calm observer in the audience. You are the sky watching a stormy cloud. Acknowledge the pain of that moment, the first arrow. Offer compassion to the version of you who was living through it. It's okay, that was a difficult moment. And as you offer that compassion, make a conscious decision to release it. It is in the past. It is over. Let that scene, too, dissolve and fade to black dot. Now, we will perform a powerful, symbolic act of release for the entire day. I want you to imagine a beautiful container. It can be whatever you wish. Perhaps it is a small, handcrafted wooden box with a strong lid. Perhaps it is a little boat waiting by the shore of a quiet river. Or perhaps it is a large, colorful hot air balloon, tethered to the ground, its basket empty and waiting. Choose the image that feels right to you, and now, mentally begin to gather up everything from the day that has passed. Gather up all the conversations, both the pleasant and the difficult. Gather up all the tasks you completed, and especially all the tasks that remain on your to-do list for tomorrow. Gather up your worries about work, about family, about the world. Gather up any lingering feelings of anger, sadness, guilt, or anxiety. Gather up your successes and your failures. See all of it, all the mental and emotional content of your day, and place it all gently into your container. Take your time. Make sure everything is in there. Every last worry, every last plan, the entire day. Now, see yourself closing the container. If it is a box, see yourself fastening the latch, hearing the satisfying click as it locks. If it is the boat, see yourself untying the final rope from the dock. If it is the hot air balloon, see yourself severing the anchor line that holds it to the earth. And now, with a deep breath out, let it go. Watch as the little boat is caught by the current of the river and begins to float gently downstream. Watch it get smaller and smaller, disappearing around a bend, carried away by the river of time. Or watch as the hot air balloon, now free, begins to rise silently into the twilight sky. Watch it drift up, up and away, becoming a smaller and smaller speck against the stars, until it vanishes completely from sight. As you watch it go, repeat these words silently to yourself as a deep truth. The day is complete. It is over. Its work is done. My work is done. There is nothing more to solve, Nothing more to figure out tonight. It is safe to let go. It is safe to rest. Feel the lightness in your own being, the spaciousness, the unburdened quiet. You have given the day back to the past, where it belongs. Your mind is now clear. It is open. It has been given full permission to disengage from the world of doing and to enter the world of being. The teachings are now complete. The work is done. From this point forward, we will simply drift. We will begin our final, gentle descent into the deep, healing, and restorative quiet of sleep. Let my voice be a soft, distant melody as you begin to float on the quiet waters of your own peaceful mind. The work is now complete. You have tended your inner garden with great care. You have journeyed through stories and parables, gathering the wisdom of the ages. You have released the day, clearing the landscape of your mind, leaving it open, pristine, and ready for deep, restorative rest. From this point forward, there is nothing left for you to do. Your only task is to allow, to surrender, to let go into the great quiet that is waiting for you. My voice will be your companion as you begin this gentle descent, this soft spiral down into the profound peace of sleep. We will walk down a staircase. Together, a simple countdown from 10 to 1. Each number, each step, will take you deeper into a state of complete relaxation. There is no need to force anything. Simply allow the suggestions to wash over you like a warm, gentle tide carrying you effortlessly out to a calm and peaceful sea. 10. Beginning the descent. A gentle wave of relaxation begins to flow from the top of your head, down through your entire body, all the way to the tips of your toes. With this first step down, you give your body permission to let go completely. Feel the full weight of your body sinking deeper and deeper into the soft, supportive surface beneath you. Sinking, letting go. So heavy, so comfortable. 9. The second step down, allowing your thoughts to become softer now, more distant. If any thoughts arise, you see them as faint, faraway echoes in a distant room. They have no energy, no importance. You are becoming more interested in the feeling of quiet than in the content of any thought. Your mind is softening, unwinding, becoming still. 8. Taking another step down into a feeling of gentle, pleasant drifting, like a single, soft feather floating on a gentle breeze, or a small boat drifting on the surface of a perfectly calm, warm lake. A feeling of effortless floating and drifting, weightless and free. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing holding on to you, just a gentle, peaceful drift. 7. Every muscle in your body now releases the last, tiny, hidden remnants of tension. From the small muscles in your face and jaw, to the large muscles in your back and legs, a deep and profound letting go is happening. Every fiber, every cell is bathed in a wave of deep, soothing relaxation. Your body is becoming completely limp, completely loose, completely at ease. 6. As you drift deeper, you are held in a space of perfect peace and absolute safety. A warm, protective light surrounds you. Nothing can disturb you here. This is your sanctuary, your inner haven of tranquility. You are safe, you are held, you are at peace. All is well. 5. Halfway down now, a gentle pivot point. You are beginning to cross the soft, hazy threshold that separates wakefulness from the world of dreams. Your awareness is becoming more diffuse, more dreamlike. You are letting go of the clear, sharp focus of the day and allowing yourself to dissolve into a softer, more fluid state of being. For your breathing is so quiet now, so soft and shallow, the gentle, automatic rhythm of sleep. You are barely aware of it. It is breathing you, a soft, gentle rising, a soft, gentle falling. This quiet rhythm is the lullaby of your own body, singing you gently, gently, to sleep. 3. So deep now, so peaceful. Your awareness is soft and open, receptive to the gentle flow of images, colors, and patterns that may begin to drift behind your eyes, like clouds passing in a twilight sky. You don't need to hold on to them or understand them. You just let them drift and flow, carrying you deeper and deeper, too. Almost there, so close to the shores of deep, restorative sleep. Just one final step remains. You are ready to let go completely now, ready to surrender to the great, quiet mystery of sleep. You can feel it calling to you, a profound peace, a deep velvet darkness. You have arrived, letting go completely, sinking into the quiet, drifting into the stillness, dissolving into deep, peaceful, restorative sleep, drifting, floating, sinking, deep, deep sleep. And as you drift, as you float, as you sink into this deep peace, you may find yourself walking. You may find yourself on a soft path, in a beautiful, sleeping forest. The path beneath your feet is not made of dirt or stone, but of a thick, green moss, so soft it feels like walking on velvet. It cushions every step, making your movement completely silent. The air in this forest is cool and sweet. You can smell the scent of ancient pine trees, of damp, rich earth, and the faint, sweet fragrance of night-blooming flowers you cannot see. It is the scent of deep peace. Look up, and you can see a canopy of ancient wise trees, their leaves creating a beautiful lace pattern against a deep indigo sky, filled with 1,000 soft, shimmering stars. The forest is quiet, holding its breath in a sacred stillness. This is a place of absolute safety. This is the forest of your own peaceful mind as you walk. The only sounds are the gentle rustle of a soft breeze through the leaves above, a sound like a gentle shushing. And perhaps, in the far distance, the soft, questioning call of a single, solitary owl. These sounds only deepen the profound silence. The path you are on glows with a soft, silvery light guiding your way. You follow it, and soon it opens into a hidden clearing. And in the very center of this clearing is the most perfect place to rest you have ever seen. It is a large, round bed made of the same thick, velvety moss, a vibrant, living green. It seems to have grown here just for you, shaped perfectly to cradle your body. You move toward it, and you lie down. The feeling is one of profound comfort, of being completely held and supported by the ancient, loving earth. The moss is cool and soft against your skin, and it seems to absorb any last traces of tension or weariness from your body and mind as you lie here. Cradled in the heart of the forest, a beautiful light begins to filter down through the leaves. Above, it is the gentle, silvery light of the moon. It is not a harsh light, but a soft, liquid peace, a calming balm. Feel this soft, silvery moonlight as it bathes your body. Feel it on your forehead, your cheeks, your chest. This light is pure peace, and it soaks into your very cells, dissolving everything but rest. And now you become aware of another sound. It is the sound of a small, clear stream, gurgling and flowing gently over smooth stones nearby. The sound is a timeless lullaby, a soft, constant song of letting go. Listen to the water, flowing, flowing, carrying everything away, leaving only peace. The forest holds you, the moss cradles you, the moonlight soothes you, the stream sings to you. There is nothing for you to do here, nothing at all, but rest, but sleep. The sleeping forest is your own deep, quiet mind. Rest here now. Rest, sleep, deep sleep. If you are still listening, that is perfectly fine. Let the forest dissolve now. Let the path, the trees, the moss, all gently fade away. Let all images go. We are going to a place that is even deeper, a place beyond form, beyond thought. Imagine. Now, a pool, a vast, endless pool of warm, dark, peaceful water. This is the pool of pure awareness, the pool of unknowing. It has no beginning and no end. It is utterly still, utterly silent. This is the source from which you have come, and the place of rest to which you will now return. The final step on this journey is the deepest letting go. It is the surrender of all things. First, let go of the feeling of your body. Let the edges of your physical form, the boundary between you and the world, begin to dissolve. Let it melt into the warm, dark water of the pool. There is no longer a body. There is only a feeling of warmth, of presence, without a shape, without a boundary. Now, let go of your thoughts. If a thought should try to arise, watch as it instantly dissolves upon touching the surface of this pool, like a single, delicate snowflake landing on warm water. It leaves no trace, no ripple, only stillness remains. And now, the deepest release. Let go of your name. Your name has no meaning here, in this formless peace. Let it dissolve. Let go of your story. All your memories from the past, all your plans for the future, let them all dissolve. Let go of all the roles you play, all the things you think you are. Let them all melt away into the great, warm, dark stillness. And now there is only the pool. There is no you floating in the water. There is only the water itself. There is only the awareness, only the peace, only the stillness. You are simply returning to your own essential nature, the pure, conscious presence that existed before your story began, and which will remain long after it is over. Just this peace, sinking, dissolving, letting go, deep, deep rest.